Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to solve another popular JavaScript interview question which is related to memoization. So memoization is basically our technique to improve performance of your functions, which basically states that we have to create a cache, and if same inputs are given again, the result should be returned from the cache, not from the actual function call. So the question says that we are given a function square, right? It performs some calculation. It takes one input x, right? And we have to create another function called memoize, which will return us a function to which if we pass the same arguments again, right? So for the first time when we passed it 5, it should make call to the function square, right, and return the result, but store the result in a cache as well, so that when we again call memoize square function again with the same arguments, right, this time instead of making the call again to the square function, it should return the data from the cache only, right? So let's say how to implement this. So one thing we know for sure that it is going to return as a function, right? And this function might be expecting some arguments. So we'll write it like this, and we need to create a cache. So before returning a function, we'll create cache as a closure. So it will be an normal JavaScript object, right? Now here we need to check uh, if the value, right, if the arguments are already available in the cache or not. But for that, first we need to create a unique key for these arguments. So to create that unique key, what we can write, const key equals to json dot stringify args. So all the arguments that we pass to this function, right? Right now we are passing a single argument, but there can be multiple arguments as well. All those will be stringified, and that will create a unique key for us, right? Then we'll check if this key is available in our cache or not. So we'll check if not of key in cache. If it is not available in the cache, right, then we need to call this particular function. Which function? The function that we were provided to this memoize function. Okay, so we'll call this function and we'll store it result. So const result equals to function dot apply. We'll pass the context, let's say this, and all the arguments, right? And then we'll store this result in our cache. So cache at key equals to result. Else, if it is available in our cache, right? So for now, we'll just console.log it here. That console.log getting data from cache, and here I'll console.log that console.log getting data from function call. Cool. And at the end, we'll just return the data from our cache. So cache at that particular key. Okay. Let's see what will happen. So let's go through it. What should happen? So first, memoize function will be called, right, and square will be stored in this function, right? Then here we are returning another function which will be stored inside the memoize square variable. Then we are calling the memoize square and passing the argument 5. 5 will be stored in args, and here we are stringifying it, creating an unique key which will look something like this, right? Then we are checking that if this key is available in our cache or not. Right now it is not available in a cache. It's an empty object. So what we'll do, we'll call this particular function which was square, right? We'll pass the argument which was 5, and the result 25 will be returned to us, and we'll store that result for that particular key, right? So it will become like an object containing 5 as key and value as 25. Cool. Next time when we call again memoize square function, right, we'll check what is the key. Key will be 5 again, and we'll check if this key is available in a cache or not. This time it will be available. So instead of making the function call, first we'll console.log that hey, this time we are getting the data from cache, and we'll be returning that data from cache. So let's save this and see it in the console. As you can see, first time getting data from function call, right? And for second time we are getting data from cache. To check that there is a performance difference as well, what we can do, we can use console dot time, right? I'll call it first call, right? And here I'll write console dot time and first call. Then I'll again write console dot time, this time second call, and console dot time and second call. We'll see what is the time difference. Let's save this, go to the browser. So we can see the clear difference. The first call takes around 0.0135 milliseconds, right? But the second time when we were getting the data from the cache, it takes 0.03 milliseconds, which is less than the previous time. One point to mention, obviously this is not a complete solution, right? It doesn't handle all the edge cases. Like what example, if this function is an asynchronous code and somehow some error occurred while making that call, right? Or even in this particular case, if this function throws some kind of error, there should be a proper way to handle it, right? But yeah, this is how we can implement basic memoization in JavaScript. That was it for this video. Thank you for watching.